Good morning and welcome to another edition of Roadhouse Live. We are live. Today is June 29, 2023. Let's jump into the shenanigans. Micron reported fairly well, guided fairly well, and babbled about, potential restrictions with China as far as chips are concerned. You take that and you pair that up next to that balloon that was shot down was jam packed full of homegrown American technology that was being used to spy on this country. Let's now jump into Papa Pal. Yesterday, in front of the world, him and his cohorts, the burger eating, pocket protecting dorks, with the exception of Japan, stepped out to make the statement that, hey, inflation is still a massive problem. It is a huge issue and we need to fix inflation and create price stability before anything else because that is the most important thing in the entire universe. He also said that the target inflation rate of 2% would not be met until sometime in 2025. And to paraphrase in my own weird way, any idea of rate cuts before then makes you look like a mental retard is kind of sort of maybe what he said. Pushing into other news this morning, we got GDP, which came in. I was looking at this data bender and looking at the market reaction. The market, I can't figure out if the market is reacting to basically, and hey, it's good, but it's not great. But we are pulling down off of that initial spike on the data, and we are now lower than where we were when that data was released. So I'm struggling to find the through line. It seemed like that data was very, very mixed, but not mixed in a negative way. Maybe I'm not interpreting it right. Maybe I'm missing something with this, but I'm not seeing how the data would yield red candles other than to say, well, this was definitely already priced in. Maybe the lag is starting to not lag, kind of. I don't know. What I do know is this, though, Bender. I do know that the market has been incredibly resilient. I do know that the data that coming in from an economic standpoint continues to be very resilient. I know the corporate earnings are not showing any type of real cracks. You can chalk that up and being, hey, Hells, really low expectations, very low expectations, and they're meeting these low expectations and are able to guide up off of them. Maybe, I don't know. But this is what I do know unequivocally. I know that somebody dropped almost a $6 million call being written on Apple. Again, I'll continue to say the same thing. How you're making new all-time highs off of shrinking year-over-year sales is a mystery to me. I'd like some of that mystery juice in my life. And I'll also go back and point to how some of these that we talked about yesterday, and Aggie was basically said, hey, this just kind of locks in gains. We had massive profit taking and call writing yesterday on SPY more so than anything else. Massive, like huge money being written. And that's new. That's different. That's not something that we've seen in a while. So, Benner, these charts that we've been playing with, this little falling wedge that we then popped and then kind of settled into a little bit. Where are we with all this? Because this is like the mystery of all mysteries to my eye. Help me
Help,
understand.
help me help you. Help me help you. Sure. Let me share my screen here. All right. Here we go. So we talked about yesterday. I showed this kind of channel. I don't know if I showed it in the morning or yesterday during the day. I think it was during the day. I don't think we talked about this channel during the yesterday's morning show. Let me zoom out to a 60-minute real quick. You can see where this channel that I'm looking at comes from. So if we look at this channel, you see these purple lines here and the yellow line kind of being the midpoint, kind of is the midpoint. Zoom back into a 15-minute, and you can see where that comes into play and how we're hitting our head on the top of it at the moment. So I think that is on watch. We did take out the high from the 21st, which is over here. You can see that. So that is labeled there. So you get the midpoint of the channel, you get the high from the 21st that we took out. We had not taken that out yesterday. Then I have the London low marked down here, 44.14.5. And now we have the pre-market high. I'll put a line in there, 44.36.75. And I want to point out that if we decide to push higher, and we get, let's say we get back above this 621 high, and we can clear this trend line. Up here, we have that regular trading hours gap that we had talked about. If I go back to regular trading hours, you can see that gap right there. That is also, you see I have 61.8% retracement of the move down. Where we're sitting, or where we were sitting, right here around 44.30.75, that is a 50% retracement from this high at 44.93.25 to the lows that we put in at the bottom of that daily fair value gap, 43.70. The midpoint of that comes in right here, 44.30.75. So 618 is up just a little bit higher, 44.46.25. So if we make a move up, know that that gap is there, and you got that 618 retracement. Now, if this does not, now if this continues, meaning, okay, we took out the highs from the 21st, took out the Asia session high, we took out yesterday's high, and now they want to sell. That's going to be the case. Then we've got the London session low, again, 44.14.5. And then at 50% retracement, which, okay, the only reason, and I'm actually going to take this off because the only reason I had this up was we were measuring this up move, looking for a pullback and where it might hold as support. We didn't quite make it to the 50% retracement, but pretty close. But that really is kind of out of the picture now that we've made a new high. Now the retracement of this move doesn't matter so much anymore. So I'm going to move it up to yesterday's low, and then I'll just label that as previous day low. So we can kind of keep track of that. So, so we've got yesterday's low, and then that previous new week opening gap / the first weekly fair value gap. If I zoom in a little bit more, because obviously these levels are, that's 22 down to get to the previous day is low. So I'll zoom in a little bit more and try to get a sense of, what are we looking at going into the day. Get rid of these. And right here, we have a 5-minute fair value gap. You can see it came down, pulled into it, held that as support before moving higher. So at this point, we would not want to see, if you're looking for continued push up, we wouldn't want to see price below this fair value gap. If this becomes resistance, then ultimately we are going lower and likely take out these lows. And if you are looking at this 5-minute fair value gap right here that I just drew, I think this would mark, if we get through that and it can use it as support, then it's probably going higher. Again, we need to break that midpoint that's kind of been acting as resistance in here, the midpoint of that channel. So this is kind of what I'm looking at just coming into it. And you're right, it looks like they spiked off the data and at least after that spike to take out those previous highs, it's pushing back down. So I'll be looking to see what, this fair value gap here, what this does and what this does. If it gets through this one again and can use that as support, then that would lead me to believe that it's probably not done going up. And if it gets below this and uses that as resistance, then it's probably not done going down.
So, but how many handles down from here, just for my own ohos?
Well, you've got, we're not going to talk about the London low because that's 3 away. But yesterday's low is down just under 4,400. So about 18 from here.
Okay. So 18 handles, everything is still, fair game. That's a pretty decent sell over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then
I wonder, am I missing a headline?
If they really want to sell it, they could take out, if we go back to the daily, again, we've got yesterday's fair value, or that old daily fair value gap down here that we have filled. But if we find ourselves back below, say, 4,400, and that's acting as resistance, I'm still keeping this on my radar, the idea that, okay, maybe it comes down and checks this gap down here, which is, that's 90 points from here. Don't know that we'll get it. And again, I was talking about potential for sort of that Tuesday high of the week. Well, I wasn't looking for Wednesday to take out Tuesday's high, which it did. So, it's very possible that this move right here, looking at the daily, right? You can see this up move, we pulled back just over 50% of that, filled that daily fair value gap. It's possible that that's all it was looking for. We'll see. But I'm not, that's not out of the picture for me. And I'm not going to sit here and just go, oh, well, I want it down here, so I'm not doing anything until it gets down here. Now, I'm still going to leave, some money set aside in case we get that move. I want to capitalize on that. But I'm also, looking at this going, okay, I can see where this is the 50% retracement, of this push down. If it gets through that 618, which is 44, 45, 75, so that's 25 handles up from here, right? If it gets to the 50%, 44.31, it gets through that again. Maybe it goes up to 618, 44, 45, 75. If it gets through that, it's likely not, coming back. But if it holds in here and say it takes out yesterday's lows, then we're probably going to come down under 43.80. That's just kind of how I see this, how I'm looking at it. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. It's like I'm sitting here looking at that chart going, if I gave you $100 to draw me something that looks really fucking stupid, I think it would, not that one, go back to the other one. If I said, here's $100, draw me a really stupid looking chart, I think it would look like that.
If you want to make that bet, I'll take your $100 and draw you a stupid chart.
You already did.
That sounds like easy work.
You already did. Well, you did it for free. So thank you.
Except I didn't draw it. I just put the lines on here. I wish I could just be like, here, I'll make you a chart.
I'll do you some drawings.
I don't have that kind of money.
You got anything else?
Not at the moment. Go OSTK. Damn, over 28.
Man,
Uh,
they were firing dark pools and flow into it past couple of days.
yeah.
That we're doing that.
But no, I think that's about it.
All right. Feels like a very hungover Thursday. Am I right about that? Does it feel hungover?
Well, it does to me because I am a little bit.
Oh,
So I'll go ahead and say, yeah.
okay. All right. Let's see if Stockington can bring the energy, can bring the noise over here as far as, really getting us kind of pumped and hyped.
Bring the
Stockington,
excitement, Stonkington. Lots of pressure. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
he's
I
ready.
was I was just waiting for, speaking of stupid charts, Stonkington. But yes, I'm ready. Let's go. We've got an ER today, and that means that it's time for The Price is Right. Nike. Today on the docket, we've got some Louis Vuitton Air Force Ones. Oh my goodness. Who wants to buy some sneakers? Any takers? Any buyers? Look at
Oh,
those.
you didn't show it on the.
Oh, here, yeah. Let me
mic?
drop. Let me get those over.
Yeah.
Get this on the.
Louis Vuitton monogram brown Nike Air Force One low.
Can you guys see that on the stream?
Yep.
Yep. Nice.
Oh man, I don't buy shoes.
We got guesses rolling in. 1875, $1,200. Got some mortgage payment type guesses. Some rent payment type guesses.
I don't think Hells knows. He only buys Birkenstocks, so
I prefer Adidas when it comes to those types of shoes.
I like how it says Air and then it says Air again in case you missed it the first time.
It's redundant, right? Man, I don't know. It's like this is going to be like it's either going to be like nothing, like $150, which I doubt, or more like $8,000.
Oh no.
What do you mean? No.
Yeah,
275.
I'll say I'm gonna go like I'll say 1,800.
I'm gonna say 7,500.
You're probably closer. Should I go 7,501?
No, dude.
Just-
you already
just kidding,
you already
just
called
kidding.
your shot.
All right.
You're already in. Oh, we got a winner. And that's going to be, all guesses were very low. You could buy those for $292,000 on StockX right now.
Wait, how much?
$292,000. Anybody? Any takers?
$1,000?
Yep. There you go. Any buyers?
Those must have been. I bet those were owned by that Zach dude that went to. Didn't he go to jail for pumping stocks?
Not yet.
Oh yeah, Zach Morris.
Those are probably his shoes.
I don't. So, Stock, if those sell, does Jordan get his cut on those?
I think that's just a Nike thing, and
Well,
that's
those are Nikes.
But well, I mean, Jordan has. I mean, those are Nikes, and Jordan has Jordan.
It has
Nikes.
air on it, though.
Yeah, I don't know. That's also, I guess, reseller. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, that's, I think, gonna break some brains. Inflation. Let's get into some charts. This is kind of what I'm seeing here on the NASDAQ. Orange curves highlighting potential head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, which we're kind of right here on this neckline, maybe just below it, kind of retesting this area right here. If that was our neckline. So this is kind of what I'm looking for. One thing that really stands out about the price action on the NASDAQ in this area is that it's very balanced. I mean, maybe we left a fair value gap here. We just left it. Get rid of this green line. So that we've got this going now. From it's not working. There we go. This little fair value gap. So we left this behind on our push down. So this could be a first if we're going to start moving on up. This could be a first target. This is a very small area that they left open based on that high from yesterday. And then we've got let's see. This would be an order block line. You can see how many times we reacted to it. So if we're going to push up, I'm going to be watching that. Downside targets, this little pink box is going to be the new week opening gap. And then if we push through that, then I'd be looking, the next downside target would be down here at 14,970.50. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here on the NASDAQ. I mean, if this inverse head and shoulders is a thing, you know, I think we could have a continuation to the upside. Let's jump over to the Russell. I saw this one maybe as like a rising wedge. Again, price action above, pretty balanced up and through here. You know, I was watching this bullish down channel, which we did break out of. But you can see, like, you know, there was this fair value gap filled in, fair value gap filled in. So it's like very balanced price action above as well as below. If we were to push below, the first line I'd be looking for is this hourly order block line, 1865.90. Can see some decent reactions to it. And then we've got this 4-hour line. We'd need to pop and hold this 1885.90 to continue to the upside. But again, very balanced. So just going to kind of give it some time, see how it plays out. I mean, yeah, we saw the, you know, end of the quarter, you know, kind of hard to tell what's going on with some of this flow. But you know, I think the Russell will be a good watch, and I'll be calling out what I see over there. If we jump over to individual tickers, let's see. NVIDIA double inside days. Kind of seemed like it didn't give a fuck about the China headline, I would say. So let's see. Clean this lines up a little bit here. So it's kind of like starting to look like just a big wedge. I wanted to use this area, this 415.10 as the call trigger. So we'll see what we get. It's sitting on it right now. And so below, again, this one would be very conservative. So if you wanted to have a more aggressive put trigger, we could probably move this up to something like right here. It's at 410.80-ish or 410.85 on NVIDIA. So this would be kind of what I would be looking at for today. Double inside day, so I think it's compressed. It's ready for a move. Market doesn't seem to care about the China news, so we'll see what we get. I'm going to be watching that 415.10 just above now and below 410.85. Let's see. And then the other one that we're going to keep an eye on today was going to be Microsoft. So this one I kind of saw as a possible head and shoulders. We've got our left shoulder head and maybe a right shoulder here. I mentioned earlier this week, battle of the dark pools in this area. Let's see, can you see those? So we've got 335.40 that we just lost. That's 7% average 30-day from June 2nd. It's kind of small. And then we've got below 332.89, 4.5% from the end of May. So that's kind of what I'm watching here on Microsoft. We've had a little ways to go to put in this big head and shoulders. Flow has still been decent, especially shorter term. We've seen some calls on Microsoft for this week. So, you know, it's basically we're back into the range of battle of the dark pools. And then above, if we cross this 335.40, I'd be watching 338.05. Otherwise, opposed to the rest of the dark pools in the room, it was notable that they tacked on to SPXS at 1460 area. So if you're feeling bearish, that's going to be an important line. And I think that's all I got.
All right. Well, this is an interesting little sell here, Bender. Stonk, you guys have any words on it? As we
Indeed.
continue to push lower, anything you want to add?
I mean, I kind of gave everything that I was looking at.
Yeah.
But if we go back to the chart, I mean, okay, we just took out the London low. This shaded box right here, you can see it left that fair value gap above on that move down, and then left it below on the move up. So, this area in here is, for me, kind of sets up the below that, and we're probably going to take out yesterday's low and then kind of down into.
Yeah, that's it's funny how that chart kind of develops and looks a little bit differently than it did a few minutes ago.
When we were banging right up against this trend line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
okay,
it.
so if we are going to get a downside move, flow that's very important, very, very evident, are these 400 puts on NVIDIA. Very evident that there is a strong desire to get it there. That probably the one that I would look at. Would also look at these some of the puts or the 330-ish level puts on Microsoft. I take a peek at that. Also, Amazon Flow has been very, very bullish with lines, really trying to push over 130. That would be another area that I would look to see. What are they doing? Are they coming in on the bid? Are they coming back and retrying to attack that line, or the 135s going out a couple of weeks? What are they trying to do within there as far as that flow? There's another name that I think was fairly important. Snow had buzz and got some activity over 200. What are they doing? Are they coming back in and retapping that to the upside, or are they, looking back the other way? I think those are some of the areas in through there that I would take a look at. Google being the other one, and AMD, both kind of in the same picture. They both have pulled back. Neither have had any type of real upside momentum over the past several days. Like anything sustainable, the flow on that going into next week and beyond, especially that 7/21 and August 18th expiration, just trying to see what that balance of flow is on those tickers going into those dates could be very, very beneficial to you if you're watching that. That's all I got. You guys have anything else? Last chance, last call, last something or another?
I can try to play a song again. See if it actually works this morning.
Well, you go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and refill my coffee. I have a feeling I'm going to need it today.
It'll be one of them days.
Yep.
All right. You'd think, Stonkington, that this is the sort of thing that after it didn't work yesterday, that I would have tried to figure out why. But I really didn't. But let's see if I can get it to work here. Where's that coming from?
Motherfucking Roadhouse.
There we go.
We talk about the market, then we do some levels, and we find out if the price is right. Next we get the open and flow starts rolling. It's time to make some money again. But something's got me feeling when Powell starts speaking, he's gonna fuck it up again. Couldn't understand why he sucks so bad.
What a good way to finish the show.
Once again, as predicted, Very when nice, these very nice. CEOs start speaking, they gotta say AI.
AI.
Every morning when I wake up, it's a podcast called the motherfucking Roadhouse Live.
All right.
Beautiful, beautiful.
All right. That's all we got. So thanks for joining. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. Same time, same channel. See ya.